10:44 a.m., just shy of an hour before dawn's light, on Sunday, April 28th, 2024, when the first call dialed into Las Vegas Police and Medical Emergency Dispatch.
911 Emergency Dispatch. Do you need police, medical, or fire?
We need police here right away. I'm at the 7-Eleven on South Las Vegas Boulevard. This crazy guy just attacked one of my employees.
Okay, sir. Is the attacker still there on scene?
I don't know. We locked ourselves inside the store, but we need help. This man's crazy. He attacked my coworker like an animal. He was trying to bite him, beating him. My employee's hurt. He's bleeding. Please, you've got to hurry up and get here.
Okay, sir. Please stay calm and on the line. Police are en route.
The incident began to unfold on the premises of an otherwise ordinary 7-Eleven convenience store, right in the midst of the neon-soaked 1100 block of South Las Vegas Boulevard, the dead center of the infamous Las Vegas Strip, the commercial hub of the entire sprawling city that truly never sleeps, where high-stakes casinos, exclusive nightclubs, and posh luxury resorts offer up every conceivable kind of vice and adrenaline-fueled experience to anyone with enough cash to disappear into the unbridled excesses of the entertainment capital of the world. While busloads of wired denizens flush with expendable money flock from every possible direction straight into the lurid and lucky embrace of the city of second chances, the iconic 705 area code has also been the unfortunate locale of a number of the most harrowing and shocking crimes in American history.
Arnie, you're through. You hire these mugs, they missed, now you're through. If you ain't out of town by tomorrow morning, you won't never leave it except in a pine box. I'm taking over this territory. From now on, it's mine.
Beginning in the post-war 1940s and 50s, organized crime, led by the Italian mafia, transformed a shambling, patchy stretch of sheer desert bordering the once sleepy Paradise, Nevada, into the iconic gambling and lifestyle mecca that it is to this very day. And during those romanticized decades of utter explosive economic growth, every inch of the evolving city of lost wages was controlled by a revolving door of brooding, connected gangsters like Tony the Ant Spilatro, Meyer Lansky, Bugsy Siegel, and Frank Lefty Rosenthal. These suave, olive-skinned, ice-cold killers, clad in expensive silk Armani suits and cap-toe Oxfords, raked in an eager king's ransom of hundreds of millions off the suckers, marks, and whales who poured into the city's establishments of inequity without fail, each and every day, hoping that every last bet would ultimately be their big break. However, in Vegas, the house always comes out on top, and most of those unlucky or just plain daft enough to cross the mob during their unmitigated reign ended up disappeared, etched into the dusty, scorched earth of the Nevada desert as part of a lost generation of discarded human remains, rotting sun-bleached in the deep, penetrating heat of the desolate wastelands of the haunted, unincorporated outer fringes. Certainly in much more recent years, no one could ever forget the harrowing and utterly horrific 2017 Route 91 Harvest Festival massacre, the single deadliest mass shooting event in modern American history. A tragic, baseless event which struck directly at the heart of the city and its residents, reformers, and reprobates in equal measure back in October of that year. A veritable madman, armed to the teeth, smashed out the windows of his high-up hotel room and opened fire from within his barricaded suite on the 32nd floor of the Mandalay Bay Hotel, brandishing an utter arsenal of heavy weaponry including multiple locked and loaded, utterly lethal bump-stocked AR-15s and AR-10s. During nearly 70 consecutive minutes of automatic gunfire and indescribable chaos, 49-year-old Stephen Paddock squeezed off over 1,000 rounds down into the densely packed, unsuspecting crowd below, while hordes of spectators danced, sang, and celebrated together, completely unaware that they were in mortal danger as singer Jason Aldean began his set right out in the open-air Las Vegas Village, a 15-acre outdoor venue located just off the Las Vegas Strip. Ultimately, 60 innocent individuals, simply unlucky enough to be attending the concert that night, were indefatigably struck down by a hellish onslaught of feverish gunfire, an unparalleled American tragedy which haunts the heart of Las Vegas to this day and scarred the soul and marred the identity of the entire nation. On February 10th, 1981, a 23-year-old part-time hotel busboy named Philip Klein intentionally set fire to a series of curtains on the 8th floor of the once iconic and prestigious Hilton Hotel on Paradise Road, a swank, commercial residential area that houses and services mainly the tourist set, while shadowing in parallel the Strip itself. The blistering blaze that exploded through the walls, rooms, and packed halls of the Hilton that followed became one of the most destructive and costly disasters in the city's entire storied history, leaving ultimately 8 people dead, with well over 200 others devastatingly injured.
I feel like I could represent my generation so much because I honestly did not care whether I lived or died. I can't leave until this is straight. I can't go until y'all really know what time it is. And then after that, boom, it's all over. And we can see, how this shit fall. But that's how it is. And the reason being is because if I can't live free, if I can't live with the same respect as the next man, I don't want to be here. Because God has cursed me to see.
On September 7th, 1996, rap icon Tupac Shakur was fatally shot and killed in a drive-by shooting at the intersection of East Flamingo Road and Koval Lane, in the heart of, ironically enough, Vegas's hospital district. After a strafing stream of savage gunfire erupted from out of the window of a white Cadillac, which had slow-rolled up on a vehicle driven by notorious Death Row Records impresario Suge Knight, Shakur, who was seated to Knight's right in the passenger seat of his black 1996 BMW 750 IL, was clearly the intended target, and he was struck by a hail of quick, popping shots, hitting Shakur twice in the chest, once under the arm, and once in the thigh, where the round severed his femoral artery, leading quickly to the end of his life. Yet the incident that was beginning to unfold across much of South Las Vegas Boulevard in April of 2024, that Las Vegas police were just about to happen upon, right there between the tourist magnet haunted museum and the famous Little White Wedding Chapel, would scar those that witnessed it for the rest of their lives. According to witness testimony, as well as his own, Christopher Jordan, a part-time custodial employee at the 7-Eleven, happened upon what he believed to be a routine transient trespasser loitering in the shadowy diaspora of darkness out back in the narrow alleyway behind the convenience store. Jordan was routinely hauling trash bags to the rear of the 7-Eleven at the tail end of his custodial graveyard shift when he first observed what appeared to be a thin, disheveled man leaning headfirst and rummaging around in one of the store's fetid, overfilled city dumpsters. When Jordan, from a relatively safe distance, calmly ordered the grimy, slipshod individual to simply peaceably depart the property, the unkempt man simply either ignored him or was too mentally incapacitated to render a response. So Jordan called out again in a much louder voice. The other man slowly reared his top half up and out of the slough of turgid, rotting refuse and turned to menacingly face him. A wiry shudder of gooseflesh climbed Christopher Jordan's tingling spine as the squalid, squint-eyed man began to tense up. His hands were gnarled, greasy, and knotted, with overgrown nails blackened by grime and chipped jagged. His long, thick-knuckled fingers slowly balling into tightly wound fists as his emaciated, colorless face began to sneer and contort. His steely, empty gray eyes, now utterly fixated on the rising, anxious fear and dread slowly creeping into Jordan's own. The tight skin of the man's maniacal, bony face continued to twist into a snarling paroxysm of confusion and blanked-out rage before he spasmodically erupted into a jarring, frantic flail of disoriented, threatening movement. His trembling hands twisted into coercive claws as the unknown attacker suddenly lunged fecklessly at Christopher Jordan, a low, angry, guttural growl gurgling out from deep in his gut. A mindless sound which set off a sounding cascade of primitive alarms of fight or flight in Christopher Jordan's reeling mind. As the man lurched at him, Jordan felt every electric instinct operating within himself firing to fall back and flee, and he desperately spun on his heels to run. But his eerily agile and cagey attacker launched himself forward off his feet, tackling the absolutely terrified Christopher Jordan to the gravel-strewn concrete. The seething man directly on top of him was sickeningly sweet with the stink of stale piss and sweat, pinning Jordan under the confusing dead weight of his narrow skin-and-bones frame, while tearing out rampant chunks of his hair, striking and scratching and spitting all over what was available of Jordan's face with a reckless, irrational abandon, until the animalistic aggressor's harsh, wiry hands finally slid in place, grasping with a comfortably murderous purchase around Christopher Jordan's quickly tightening throat, squeezing and grinning through an absent, wide-eyed stare with the relentless antipathy of an endlessly twisting ball python. Once the empty-eyed attacker had Jordan paralyzed with mortal fear and pinned within his horrific, immovable embrace, Christopher Jordan realized that this man was choking the life out of his body. And as this thought meandered across his caverning mind, and the world around him began to reduce down to the size of a distant, unreachable pinprick, Christopher Jordan began to lose consciousness. The last thing he could see was his deeply disturbed attacker, stretching open his cavernous, sooty mouth, seemingly as far as it would go, about to begin to sink his yellowed, crooked teeth directly into the sweaty, tender, pulsing flesh of Christopher Jordan's throat. As the damp heat of the man's stinking breath hit the skin of his neck, Jordan suddenly snapped back to life and jerked his body, mustering just enough will to dislodge the man's icy grip and slam his knee up into the muttering attacker's groin with a dull, heavy thud, causing the snarling, still snapping man to instinctually reel over and wrench inward, providing Jordan a single split second to slip his rampant attacker's unshakable death grip. By the time the tussled employee stammered back to his unsteady feet, he immediately sprinted back across the parking lot and inside the store, feverishly slamming the plexiglass door behind him before capably securing its twin deadbolt locks. Jordan then hollered to his obviously shocked and startled co-workers held up fearfully in the back to quickly call 911. Jordan then intently turned his attention back towards the parking lot again to clock the position of the man who just tried with all of his will to end his life. Just then, Christopher Jordan witnessed the limping, erratic man loping off in an unsteady daze, ambling incoherently up the north side of the crowded boulevard, seething into the urban anonymous twilight maw of Sin City. Less than 5 minutes later, the first Las Vegas police officers responded to the densely traversed intersection of the 1100 block of Charleston and South Las Vegas boulevards, screeching up into the south end of the sparsely populated 7-Eleven parking lot. But they were already too late. The suspect in question was long gone. While officers were invested in parsing out the deranged details of that particular call, the demented and irrational attacker drifted aimlessly from the 7-Eleven up Charleston and 3rd Avenue, repeatedly stalking, disturbing, and physically accosting various otherwise innocent individuals with the robotic, jerking, and howling frenzy of a rabid animal sinking further and further into the deep, dark waters of unquenchable insanity. Only mere moments later, numerous frantic calls began dialing in quick succession into Las Vegas 911 dispatch. The individual at the center of this evolving spree of madness and mayhem was later identified as 29-year-old Colin Check, who had spent an unidentifiable number of days and nights wandering the overflowing swath of the city parallel to the I-15 freeway in a sweaty, disoriented daze. The effects of both his untreated psychosis and narcotic haze engendering within his unsteady mind a cascading series of intense and incomparable threats, both actualized and completely imagined. Feeling as though his body, soul, and utter material existence were under an unyielding crusade of mercurial danger. Colin Check hadn't bathed, eaten, or slept in as long as he could remember, parsing his driftless existence, shambling around the fetid underbelly of the Strip, intermittently either stalking or assaulting random passers-by, or strewing about, hiding or biding time in the dank desperation of the various steamy, stinking alleyways crisscrossing the back ends of Vegas's urban expansion. It was later revealed that only moments after Colin Check viciously accosted Christopher Jordan and then absconded from the nearby 7-Eleven, he happened upon an otherwise random innocent bystander less than a quarter mile up the road named Kenneth Brown, who was minding his own business, making his daily trek to the nearest public bus stop to begin his daily early morning commute to work. Witnesses claimed Colin Check seemingly ignored a plethora of other possible potential victims in order to make an enigmatic beeline directly across the raucous, honking traffic of bustling Charleston Boulevard, where he suddenly, and without any provocation, exploded specifically upon an otherwise completely oblivious Kenneth Brown in what was described as an ecstatic state of anxious rage, driving the waylaid man's splayed body headfirst down into the unforgiving city pavement, instantly separating him from his consciousness and leaving Kenneth Brown at the eerie, untethered mercy of his deranged and ravenous attacker.
911 emergency, signs 20209. Do you need police, fire, or medical?
I need medical and police. There's a guy at the bus stop. I guess he can't breathe. He's bleeding. The lady, she ran in my store. Accident. We called 911. And he's out. Yeah, you need help.
Sir, are you near the 7-Eleven?
Yeah, I'm by AMPM. I work for AMPM.
Okay, sir, just give me one moment. So we're just waiting.
Oh, shit. Oh, my God.
What's happening?
Oh, it's a lot of blood, man. You need to get the ambulance home.
Yes,
I don't even want to walk.
we're waiting for the police to respond first to make sure the scene is safe, okay?
Okay.
Are you with the patient now?
No, I'm not going right there by that patient. That shit is gruesome.
How many people are there?
It's two people right here. It's a guy that's throwing stuff right now, bleeding, and there's another guy on the floor.
Is the assailant still nearby?
Yeah, he's right there next to the guy.
Is
I don't know.
serious bleeding?
Yeah, real bad.
Okay. Are they responding normally?
Yeah. Well,
What part of the body was injured?
I don't know, ma'am.
Okay.
I just see a gang of blood. It looks like horrible. He's wearing a burgundy shirt and wearing a burgundy shirt with blue jeans. He's sitting right on the floor.
On the floor outside of 7-Eleven, is that correct?
No, not 7-Eleven, ma'am. Between 3rd and 4th.
At the bus stop.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, my God. What the fuck is he doing? Yeah, ma'am, please. Get staff, police over here.
Okay.
And the
Are you
ambulance.
on the line?
You said he's feeding him right now?
Yeah. He's kneeing him all in the face and shit.
Which one is me? Which is it? The HMA? Is the Hispanic that's feeding
the guy with the burgundy on is kneeing the other guy on the face. Yeah. Oh, my God.
Is he still feeding him?
Yeah, I don't know what the f*** you doing to this man. That's some weird shit. Please send somebody right now.
I just upgraded to our highest priority. I'm going to go ahead and let a dispatcher know, okay?
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Metro 107180.
That's the one, yeah.
Okay. All right, call today code 4.
Thank you.
By the time the very first Las Vegas police officers pulled up, Kenneth Brown's body had been dragged by Colin Check, unconscious, and under the casual shelter of a city bus stop bench and awning overhang mere feet behind them. Colin Check then resumed his controlling position on top of Kenneth Brown's immobile and completely helpless frame, which, from the responding officer's perspective, made the scene look oddly very much like the two men were simply involved in some sort of intimate embrace, with Check almost appearing as though he were passionately kissing the man beneath him. The first officer began to approach with a wry grin on his face, half expecting to be likely breaking up a pair of highly intoxicated men in some sort of demonstrative lovers' quarrel. Yet, as the second officer also began to move into place from another adjacent angle, his instincts began to sound dire alarm as his hand began to feel its way towards his sidearm. He recognized that something felt very off, and he began barking out commanding orders to the two men lying on the ground in a stern, measured voice. As Colin Check slowly began to inconsequentially sense the presence of the two officers approaching him, he reticently raised his face slowly up from his victims to meet them. His darting, dialed-out eyes were blank and black, his placid face drenched in drooling drafts of warm blood, which oozed out of Check's mouth in a foaming, spit-soaked slough, while he continued greedily jawing on a ragged, ripped-off chunk of Kenneth Brown's now clearly mutilated face. The sobering sight of this depraved act caught both of the officers completely off guard, and they immediately drew their weapons, stepping back to restore control, stunned and intellectually grasping to capably discern exactly what they were seeing before them, while one of the officers tensely began signaling for immediate backup through the push-to-touch lapel mic on his shoulder.
Code 30, I repeat, Code 30. We need immediate backup at the 1100 block of South Charleston Boulevard. Send immediate backup. We need medical. We have at least one victim down.
Check casually disregarded the first officer's strict verbal commands with a numb shrug, and then contorted back around, suddenly gnashing down on the bridge of Kenneth Brown's nose, which exploded with a wet, bloody pop as Czech growled and grasped indistinguishably at his victim's hemorrhaging head like a starved coyote fiendishly tucking into a freshly killed carcass. As backup suddenly screeched up into place, and the now 4 assembled officers gamely struggled in unison to roughly rear the dazed, gurgling attacker up and off of the incapacitated and by then mortally injured Kenneth Brown, Colin Czech had already eaten half of his face. Brown's right eye, and much of the fragile, tensile organic materials surrounding it, had also been hungrily chewed up and eagerly consumed. According to court documents, officers later described the suspect kneeling over Kenneth Brown with, quote, biological matter in his hair, in his mouth, on his face, and across much of his clothing. Investigators further noted a bloody, neatly smoothed out $5 bill lying on the ground right beside the blood-drenched bus stop bench where the savage incident had only just transpired. And lying neatly on top of it was Kenneth Brown's roughly torn off ear, which Czech seemed to have been leaving to eat last of all, like some sort of twisted gastric delicacy. Once Czech was in the careful custody of the Las Vegas Clark County Detention Center, and after he had time to stabilize from the catastrophic levels of methamphetamine and narcotic agents miring his system, investigators began to carefully interrogate the monstrous, unrepentant killer. While awaiting arraignment, Czech calmly relayed his troubling and nauseating account to investigators, while slowly sipping from a styrofoam cup of Diet Coke, which he held tightly between his shackled hands.
Okay, Colin, why don't you just take us back one more time and tell us why you initially targeted Kenneth Brown?
I don't know what you want me to say, man. I don't know what you want me to say anymore. I'd been awake for 5 days, man. I don't remember much. I was so high. I don't remember. I just see flashes, man. I don't want to think about any of this anymore, man. I don't want to think about any of this anymore, man. I told you already, man. It was a demon. He was a shapeshifter, man. He was following me around the city. He got inside of me 5 days ago, and I've been fighting him ever since. I told you, man, none of this is my fault, man. It was a demon, man. He was inside me, and then he would jump inside of somebody else, man, and try to kill me. What was I supposed to do?
Slow down, Colin. You said demon. Tell me more about that.
I don't know, man. The demon. What do you want me to say? I told you, he's like a shapeshifter. He could be anybody, man. He wanted to be inside of me, and I tried to fight him. That's why I took all those bath salts, man. It was keeping me awake. As long as I was awake, I could fight him, man. That's all I was trying to do.
We did find more than trace amounts of amphetamines in your system, Colin. Do you think the influence of drugs could have had any effect on your actions that day?
I don't know, man. I had to do what I had to do. I had nobody to turn to. No one would listen to me, man. No one would listen to me, man. I had to kill him, man. He was a demon, man. He would have killed me. I had to use the only weapon I had when I finally had him down, man. I had to use the only weapon I had, man.
Wait a minute. We didn't find any weapons at the scene, Colin. What weapon are you talking about?
I don't know, man. I had to use the only weapon I had, man. I had to use my teeth, man. I had to use my teeth.
I can't seem to face up psycho killer, qu'est-ce que c'est? Fa 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 fa. Better run, 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 run away. Oh, psycho killer, qu'est-ce que c'est?